Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, whenever you choose to listen.
Mhm.
I'm Declan Carroll, and welcome to Top 51. I'm joined by Andy Cummins, the Flat Maestro. That's why I'm speaking to you again first, unfortunately. But Andy, how are you? We 3 days at the Curragh, and we didn't do too bad. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, not too bad. Slight correction, Deck. Top 52. Is it?
Oh, Top
Or is it
50.
top?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, top 52. Top
It
52.
is Top 52, yeah.
Yeah, no, the Curragh was great. Thoroughly enjoyed my weekend. Great to see the Curragh making a big effort on Derby Day as well. They got a nice crowd, not a packed crowd. Wasn't like the old
It
days.
was only
Um,
11,000.
yeah, but it felt like 11,000,
Yeah,
which it, which was nice because yourself, the Curragh can always lack an atmosphere.
yeah, yeah.
But there wasn't. They made a big effort, like that little choo train thing going around for the kids. There was plenty of places to get a drink. The weather played its part as well, which helps. Saw some top quality racing. I've never actually heard a louder crowd. I think it was the listed sprint that was won by my mate Alfie. I think basically anyone that had a bet was in with a chance with a furlong to go. It was a great race. And I actually hadn't heard a roar from the stands at the Curragh like that for a long time. The Derby kind of matched it as well. Obviously a great finish in the Derby with with Los Angeles coming out on top. But I really enjoyed my weekend. I saw some nice eye catchers too. Obviously it was nice to get Chardonnay and Henry Matisse in the bag on Sunday as well, to go with your couple winners on Saturday too, Deck. So not a bad L top 51.
No, well, it wasn't a bad return for us.
Mm.
Obviously, we haven't reached the heights we reached last winter, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
thought the Derby was a good race.
Yeah.
Look, you had second and third from Epsom going at it, like that. The form is solid, and Ambient Friendly probably just doesn't get the trip, does he?
Yeah, like he was beaten by a very good horse in City of Troy, but like he hit the front, he headed Los Angeles inside the 2 furlong pole, and he just didn't see his race out. It probably is back to 10 furlongs with him. Like he didn't lose an awful lot in defeat. Sunway excelled himself in comparison to
Yeah.
what he's been doing over 10 furlongs. I think he was 8th in the Jockey Club. He's a brother to Seal Away, the Champion Stakes winner as well. So interesting to see him getting 12 furlongs so well. Los Angeles, really gutsy, excellent effort. It'd be interesting to see where the runner up and third go. Like the obvious race for Ambiente Friendly, if Connections want to keep him at 12, I think he'll go back to 10. But the Gordon Stakes at Goodwood is probably his next target, Group 3. No penalty there. I would, as I said there, Deck, I'd rather see him at 10, and maybe they'll go back to 10 with him.
Look, the way he's travelled into both derbies, I would be keeping him at Group 1 level, and I'd be going 10 furlongs. I wouldn't be dropping in grade just yet.
No, it's just the way the way the cookie crumbles. Like, what's next 10 for? Obviously, the Eclipse is on Saturday, so after that though, you're probably looking at the Juddmonte International. I don't think there's anything in France.
No.
So yeah, or Germany. So yeah, it would be the Juddmonte on Irish Champion Stakes. Why not? Like they have a Group 1 horse, no doubt about that. It's just a matter of what trip they're going to campaign him at. It was very interesting as well. There's not much to him. He's a small horse. Like in comparison, like you're almost ducking for cover when you saw Los Angeles and even Sunway coming at you in the ring, like big muscle, massive horses. Ambiente Friendly, just very compact. Much
there's
slower.
time. He may get 12 furlongs in time.
Yeah, good chance he would. Good chance he would. Yeah. Now he does travel well within himself as well. So like if he could learn to drop the bridle a little bit, that would always help too. But look, I don't think he's lost an awful lot in defeat, to be honest with you.
Right. What about getting to 12 maybe in the States on really fast ground?
Yeah.
On one of those kind of tracks.
Yeah, 12 furlongs in the States. James Franchise, no stranger, going over there, didn't he? Toast New York, was it? He sent over, nearly won a British Cup.
No, that was Jamie Osborne.
That was Jamie Osborne. I'm getting my Jameses and James mixed up. No, he absolutely. There's a good chance he could go over.
By November, he could be a good bit stronger. He could be getting to 12, and the way he travels, he'd have no problem going around there.
Yeah, no, absolutely, totally agree with you. Even on the undercard, Jack Chardonnay, I was impressed by him.
Mm.
Won like the way I thought he'd win. I think he'd be a black type horse in time, and even Henry Matisse, the rag of the field, he ended up in the railway. He was flat to the boards the whole way. I'm slightly worried. I'd be worried about him on fast ground. Like he really had a bit of an action, and he was taken off his feet over 6. Like the obvious race they're going to have to go for now, despite him only getting up late, is the Phoenix Stakes. He has a Group 2 penalty anywhere else he goes. I'd probably rather see him in the Mornay for a bit of softer ground. But when he sees 7, when he runs in something like the National Stakes or even the Dewhurst, he's going to come into his own again. I could see him bagging a Group 1 over 7 furlongs or a mile at the end of the season. He really, he was my paddock pick as well. I thought he looked a picture in the ring too. So I think he beat a nice horse there in the runner-up, the Midland Park horse, the Striking Viking, I think it was. So yeah, I think that was a decent race this year too.
Okay, and favourite performance since top 51?
Favourite performance? Oh, you've got me there. Like, it'd be probably rude to say it can't be, like, it'd be rude to say anything other than Los Angeles, probably. Like, he's really, really battled, you know. He's, like, obviously, his stablemates have came off the rail. I don't know if you saw the home straight deck. I'm not saying how much of the Curragh you saw.
They came well wide, and I also thought, you know, everyone talks about, you know, they were coming off the rail to allow him through. I wouldn't be surprised if they came off the rail to allow Andy and Friendly hit the front too soon.
Yeah, that's another point. Yeah, because
they came very wide. They didn't come one horse off the rail. They came
into the centre of the track almost. Yeah,
you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they knew Andy and Friendly would track and he'd travel, and if there was a gap, he could take it. But the fact they pulled so wide, I wouldn't be surprised they wanted him to be in front too soon.
Yeah, possibly.
And I don't think there was an awful lot the jockey could do. The horse took him there. Well, it opened up for him, and jockey's taking a bit of stick. Probably a little bit unfair in my opinion, because it's you know, the horse traveled. He just took him there. The gap was, you know, he didn't go through a gap. It just opened up for him. So
yeah. Given the way he extended away in the Lingfield Derby trial, albeit at a much lesser level, and the way he even picked up in the Derby, he just bumped into City of Troy. Like, you know, it's like if he had held on to him, you could have been playing with fire. All right, I do get that.
I don't know if he could hold on to him. Like, it was, you know, no cover for him suddenly, and you know, he travels like a travelly thing. And all of a sudden, they pulled well wide. Like, they didn't pull wide and try to keep him in. You know, all we heard all week was they're going to run pacemakers and box him in. I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to let him out.
Yeah, it seemed that way. But the way that the home straight was, or the way that the home turn was set up, like all day, horses were blowing that rail. Like, they were slinging. Like, it was definitely sharper to turn into the home straight. 100% sharper this weekend. Yeah. Interesting though. I didn't have a problem with it. I saw some people comment about it on Twitter. I just think that I didn't really have too much of an issue with it, though, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Well, look, some horses were able to handle it. I suppose, you know, you don't give out about Epsom. You have to handle Epsom to win.
Yeah.
Win the Derby. So, you know, some horses handled it the weekend and won. Can you have a guess what my favourite performance since top 51 was?
Was it Popova?
Yeah, look, absolutely delighted for Dave and the lads. Two lovely young lads and 3 gentlemen, and I love that horse. She's class, and I suppose, you know, she's won well on Chase debut. Now she wants good ground, and I was Dave texted me the other night, and I said something. I don't know whether he thinks I'm joking or not, but you know, you can. I'm sure there's races for her at Thurles, and you could target her at a Grade 1 in Aintree on good ground when horses have gone to Cheltenham. You know, you see it, horses at big prices who probably were ardent Grade 1 horses, or they're falling in or running into the money at that meeting every year. Like, she's going to get her ground. I'd skip Cheltenham with her. I know both of us maybe we might have mentioned the Mayor's Chase at Cheltenham to Dave, but I'd be keeping her to the likes of Thurles is many into her through the winter and good ground, and you
never know.
You never know. Look, if all
you'd
else
have a lively
fails,
ticket, you'd have a small field and a lively ticket, and you
yeah,
can't ask for much more than that. So
you might get 5-6 runners, and you might have to run against 4 horses who've been to Cheltenham, and you're getting your ground, and you're going there, hopefully full of confidence after picking up some, a couple of listed prizes and that through the winter, and you have to dream big. I don't know if you're listening, Dave, but yeah, I was serious and dream big.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
I'd absolutely love Dave to pick up a grade 1 when he marries. It would be top class, and win some decent prize money in this part of the world for once, instead of having to go and pick it all up in France to fund this dream over here. So good luck with Popova anyway for the rest of the season.
Very best luck.
Well done again. Andy, I've a good few for the end. From Tip and Cork. You probably have a few as well, but we get stuck into the Bellewstown first on Friday, and we'll try keep everyone listening to the end. We'll try keep it snappy as well. First one back was an hour, so we'll try to get back into the groove again and get moving. The first race on Friday at Bellewstown is the 405. It's the Maid Farm Machinery Claiming Race over 7 furlongs, 195 yards, so just short of the mile. Andy, claiming races, it's our first to cover. We're hardly going to have an absolute tap in the claimer.
You wouldn't like to, would you? Now it's they're probably the toughest races on the Irish calendar to solve, and look, it's great. It's a great incentive. It gives every owner an opportunity to not only pick up a bit of prize money with a horse, but also sell their horse off. Obviously, you can pick up $6,000 for winning it. You can pick up anywhere from, correct me if I'm wrong, Dec, anywhere from between 4,000 to 15,000. I think in this particular race, like there is a chance you could go pick up 20 grand for winning a pretty bog standard race, and you would obviously sell your horse off as well. It does work for a lot of people, and a lot of trainers do make their way with it, and owners target it too. It's a good incentive, and I actually wouldn't mind seeing races like this, 2-year-old races like this, almost what they do in the States, and maybe even at a slightly higher level. Put up a little bit more prize money, make the claiming price that little bit higher. Just see what happens. Just trial it. I think there is going to be a market for it. Like with 15 runners, 3 reserves, and I'd say some horses were balloted out as well. Like this is it's a good little incentive, and I think there's definitely a spot for these type of races in the calendar. Obviously they trialled it at Dundalk, and it's picked up a bit of steam. You get one every other week in Dundalk in the winter time. But anyway, onto the race deck. Chestnutter, interesting runner. Obviously operated at a higher level as a 2-year-old. Any kind of resemblance of his older form would give him a favourites chance here. He's currently rated 62. He's has a nice racing weight of 9 stone 7. Colin Keane booked. It's a very eye-catching booking. Cheap pieces on. You couldn't say sets the standard on recent form, but like he was a talented horse in his day, and in the context of this field, he wouldn't be without a chance. Church Mountain, I believe this could be a claiming debut for Dennis Hogan. This horse had form in the low to mid 70s for Mick O'Callaghan. He actually won off in the low 70s for Mick O'Callaghan. Went to Ross O'Sullivan, was placed in the mid 70s. He ran kind of poorly in his 4 runs for Dennis Hogan, but there was a little bit of promise on his penultimate run at Leopardstown in June. Now drops into a claimer. This is the type of horse that Dennis Hogan would kind of excel with. Like, just go win your claimer, get him out of the yard, pick your owners up a few quid, and look, if he isn't claimed, just go and win another claimer. That's the type of and Church Mountain would kind of fit that profile. I'd expect to see an improved performance from him. He would definitely be a danger to the one I'm going to tip, which is Tartarin. Yeah. First time cheap pieces. Wesley Joyce claiming 5. It's a filly. She's rated 64. Wesley Joyce, serious value for his £5, especially in a race of this nature. Probably a career best last time out, and second to There's No Limit. only beaten half a length at Ballinrobe that day. They were a long way clear at the third as well. A replication of that run would have to see her go very close, backing claimer company. And that's what I mean about these claimers. You know, horses can just find their level, find their form, and just consistently perform in it. And sometimes they can even translate that to handicap company. And this is a filly that could, you know, go on and win this after an encouraging run last time out, and maybe even just, you know, start skipping her way up the handicap a little bit. In off 9 stone 1, so I'd say highly likely she's going to be claimed, given her, you know, how progressive maybe progressive is not the right word, but she goes and wins this, she'll have a nice enough profile for similar races and handicaps, and I think she's the one to be here.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I did like Tartaragan. I'll just give her a rating. She's officially rated 64.
Yeah,
and she's carrying 9 stone 1 pound.
Yeah,
and she has a 3-year-old. Obviously, they're all weights are allocated by claiming price. And just to give you an example, like the top weight is a Manoranus. It's called a Manoranus.
Yeah, is that could be Irish? Is it a Manoranus? Yeah, you're probably right. Well, let's go with that. Go with your pronunciation.
Like rated 70. She's carried 10 stone 2, but she's carrying the same weight as Boadicea Bell, who was rated 62, 8 pound inferior. So I thought Tai Sang Yi, was interesting. 10-year-old carrying 9 stone 6 pound, but form is okay without winning recently. Probably the most consistent that he is coming into the race, but is a 10-year-old. It's hard to work out where you need to improve though to be winning these races. That's the only thing. The one I'd probably go for is Sister Mila. She's rated 66, a 3-year-old. She's carrying 9 stone 3 pound. She had shown some promise, I thought, in Maidens, but she was bitterly disappointing on handicap debut. Now, the fact she's gone into
claiming
company, she's gone into a claimer, does that tell you that, you know, there is nothing there? She did look to show some promise in Maidens, though. She looked a lot better than I thought she performed on handicap debut. So maybe to just kind of ship her on. But I wouldn't be surprised. She's probably the least exposed in the field as well. So I'd say if there's any to have improvement, it's probably her. So, and you're with Tartaragan.
Yeah.
And look, it was I was close with Tartaragan. It was high up in the list, but I'll go with Sister Mila. We will move on to the 440, the Irish ABF median sires series for colts and geldings, the Maiden. It's an incentive race. So Andy, this is for, have you got the conditions? It's obviously for stallions that cost less than.
Yeah, so median sires, so your weight is going to be allocated based on your sire's covering fee. So for example, your top weight there, Talgo Abbas, Kotai Glory, he's a 12.5 grand cover this season. Wooded, who is in there too, as the second political power, who's by Wooded, sorry, is what I should have said. He's a 10 grand cover. So you can kind of get where I'm going from. Then you've Shoof Phoenix, who's by Phoenix of Spain, also costing 10 grand. You go down to the bottom weight of Midnight Stagger, Galileo Gold. You'll probably find Galileo Gold, 7 grand cover, 8 stone 13, whereas Talgo Abbas, 9 stone 5. So long story short, depending on whatever your dad costs to create you is what you carry in this race.
So it's a bit like skill tonight, but hopefully you're all still switched on and enjoying it. Andy, the one that stood out to me was Shocker, who had a shocker in the Chesham.
I knew that was coming. I was going to deliver that one if you didn't.
Too easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's sitting there, wasn't it? And that'll be Fran Berry or whoever be saying that in racing TV now as well. It's around 100%.
Well, you heard it here first. Look, but was second to the Saxon Warrior Colt. I can't think the name now of Aiden's before that at Tipperary. The debut form is working out okay, and he's one I can't really see past here. Probably be odds on.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. The horse you're thinking of, Dec, is Surpass, who was extremely green and got up. Did very well to win that race at Tipperary. But as you said, Shocker did very little wrong. Only went down by a neck. Was a 50-1 shot. they thought he was good enough to run at Royal Ascot in the Chesham Stakes. Sure, why not? You know, if you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the raffle. He's rated 78. It's essentially on the back of one run. But improvement from second to first run. Look, you can forgive a horse a run a listed company like that in a race like the Chesham Stakes at Royal Ascot. Fair play to him for having a go. But this looks like a very weak race deck. He's rated 78. He shouldn't have too much trouble. A replication of that second run should be good enough here. Can't see much with the debutants. And this was kind of like, this be one of the lowest possible graded 2-year-old maidens you're going to see. The median sires, obviously 12.5 grand being 9 stone 5. So you're not going to get many superstars in here. Now, there is always the chance that you do, but it doesn't look like it. Shocker, rate 78, as I said. Probably going to be good enough. Political Power is an interesting enough runner. Made his debut at Shanty of all places, despite being trained by Adrian Murray. But did not back that up in any way, shape or form at Tipperary. There's maybe a chance, given that he's by Wooded out of a new approach mare. Wooded, I think, won the Prix de l'Abbé. There's an off chance that he could improve for better ground. But I couldn't see it. I think Shocker's going to take all the beating here.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, look, we will move on to something a little bit more straightforward, and there's nothing said straightforward like a mile handicap on the flat of Bellewstown, isn't it?
Around Bellewstown, jeez, yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, we moved to the 5:15 McNally's Pharmacy 365 handicap for 3-year-olds up. It's 47 to 70, 7 furlongs, 195 yards, just like the pair of races before. McNally's Pharmacy, obviously open Christmas Day, Andy, 365. Or is it online only? Or no, you couldn't have an online pharmacy deliver same day. You can nick down for the top of ins.
That's it, yeah. For Christmas Eve, yeah, the dodgy Christmas Eve, yeah.
Yeah.
Can bank on McNally, that's always good.
Okay, there was 4 that took my interest here. Blackcastle Storm. His 24 flat form, I think, has been decent enough. 4th and 2nd recently, only won once though, and that'd be a little bit of a concern to me. Imposed Supreme, won over course and distance exactly a year ago, or almost exactly a year ago. It'd be 2 days in the difference. Off this mark of 69, I'm not sure it was the exact same race. It
could be. He's actually declared Friday as well. There's a lot of days in this race that are actually declared tomorrow, Friday. Thursday and Friday.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Breezy's off in there too. So and funny enough, you go back to last year, I think they actually ran both days as well. So a couple of them. So just because they are doubly declared doesn't mean that they're not going to turn up here as well. So
yeah, but look, if he ran both days last year, he picked up one of them and it was off this mark. It had to be of some interest. But the two I really like, first one is Simpson's Paradox. He won on his last Irish start in September before moving to Dr. Richard Newland. He's now with John Kins. It's his first start from him. He had an Irish mark of 80 and over 80, from 86 to 82, I think. It was never tested in a handicap though. He's only ran in maidens, but he's down to a mark of 70 here, having not really done much in Britain. And it's his Irish handicap debut. He would be of interest. The one I'm probably most keen on is 8x10. He's also rated 70. His best maiden run.
Go on. Anyway, go on.
What, the Luke Homers?
No, it's exactly what it's who I picked as well. But go
on.
Are
you serious?
Go on, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, look, his best maiden form is on good to firm ground. This is handicap debut. He's only a 4-year-old. Look, Andy, I'll let you take it away now.
Yeah, interesting. Before I do, Simpson's Paradox, who's he a brother to?
Who's he a brother to?
Well, Alpha Centauri.
Oh.
Yeah, from that family. He's going to let the family down, unfortunately. Given how talented it is, poor El Simpson's Paradox.
Look, there's always a black sheep.
Yeah, there is, yeah, exactly. But as you said, 8x10, look, you were mentioning it there, Dec, 1 mile, good to firm, excellent effort. He's still a 4-year-old colt. Like, this lad still has his tackle on, it's beyond me. But anyway, look, he ran an excellent race, tried to make all the running at Limerick against 3-year-olds as a 200 to 1 shot. We've seen Comer do that before. What was it? He knows no fear at Leopardstown. I think that was a 300
200 to 1 or something, was it?
Yeah, 300 to 1. That was when the SPs were skewered by COVID.
Yeah.
Good times. But anyway, this horse showed next to nothing in 2 starts as a 3-year-old. Came back, sorry, 2 starts as a 4-year-old. He showed nothing in his first 2 starts. They tried to make the run with him at Limerick. Very nearly worked. It was a monumental career best from his 3 runs I'd showed to date. It's after earning him. It could have been, but I would have thought it was probably a change of tactics that they bounced him out of the gate and just tried to catch them napping. But look, what he did against 3-year-olds carrying 10 stone in a maiden, it's not easy to do. I thought it was an excellent effort. 70. That's the only thing about it. I think that the opening mark might be a little bit harsh, but he is down in grade, and I don't think this is the strongest race in the world. I did have it down that maybe he could be one for a Galway handicap. I think Comer had a couple of winners at Galway last year, but like he would definitely have a chance here if he can get out on the front end around Bellewstown, off 70 here. Like he would take a bit of catching, and I would quietly fancy him now to run a big race. It would definitely be worth checking the market on him though. I'd say you could see a bit of money for him. The other one I did think could run okay is Rampage, but I think he's a little bit too high in the handicap. He's number 5 in the card, carrying 10 stone 1. Second 3 starts ago at Leopardstown, not beaten far the last twice at Leopardstown to Curragh as well, but he has not got any relent from the handicapper. He's still off 69 there. Will probably, it could be one for play spot purposes, but I'd say he's probably a little bit too high in the weight. So yeah, as I said there, Dec, 8 by 10. Quite interested now if he can get loose on the front end. There's probably a race in him this summer at least anyway.
Definitely, yeah. So we have a potential nap at the tap in 8 by 10 handicap debut 4-year-old. Okay, we will move on to the 550. 550, Landy, Muldoon and Co. Maiden. Have you looked up what Landy, Muldoon and Co. is?
I don't think I'd even have time to do that, because this is an open and shut case, isn't it? I can't see by the Ger lines. Yeah, I think that this is an open and like it's standout form, isn't it? Really, the others kind of look exposed.
I don't know. Sorry, it's over 5 furlongs and 3 yards. Those 3 yards could be absolutely vital in this race. I don't know. Yeah, Flamenco second on her only run, but I don't think the form has been great. I think one winner has come out of it, but I'm not sure. I would take her on because I think she's going to be quite short.
I could see her being 2s on possibly.
Yeah, so, I think she's going to be quite short, but I might take her on. And the one I take her on with is probably Emerald Harmony. She was placed in her last 3. She has a rating of 72, and she finished ahead of Pink Ozalis, who was in here. I'd give Emerald Harmony a go with a bit of experience, and try to take on what it's going to be really, really short.
Yeah, and look, the handicap form, like I'm going to talk about the horse that beat it last time.
Yeah,
come in. I'll talk about him a little bit later. Look, I do think she'd have a chance, but she's only rated 72.
Yeah.
What Yefimenko did at the Curragh, despite what you said about the form, which I can say, which is fair enough. Like the third Beatrix Power is rated 79 from that race. Yefimenko beat it comfortably by 2 lengths, and Oj Legacy, who won the race, has now a mark of 86, albeit was well beaten off 87 last week at the Curragh. Like at bare minimum, Yefimenko, you're talking about a low 80s horse. So Emerald Harmony, in my opinion, would at least need to find 10 pounds and has had more effort. So that's why I think Yefimenko is probably a very warm order to just go and win this, because I don't see anything in this race other than her that could be potentially rated over 80.
Fair enough. Look, I suppose I'm back in experience as well. And taking on the short price, and maybe when the Ger line really begins to wander a little bit with a bit of greenness in the last 3 yards,
Not an easy track either, though, Bellewstown.
No, it's not.
For
It's a
inexperienced
track where
horses.
you probably learn a lot, and you might need to know a bit. You know, so Brooke Effermaker is going to come on as well. You'd imagine
You would have thought.
Only had one run and being second in that run.
Jer's horses always come on as well. Like they very rarely go backwards this quickly.
And Jer has a good strike rate at Bellewstown. It wouldn't be too far from him.
Yeah, so, local enough, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he'd win a fair amount here. So, yeah, but look, we're not. I'm not going to go tipping up 1 to 2 shots, Andy. I'm not. You know,
I'll put my neck on the line.
I'm going to have a go. We'll move to the 625, the Western Motors Curragh Handicap, 3-year-old, and up 47 to 65, 5 furlongs and 3 yards. Curragh, isn't that the new Citroen?
Curragh, it could well be. Just going back to Landy and Muldoon accountants, by the way. I did look it up just there. Yeah, so basically what they're saying is, if you stick a tenner on Jer Lyons in that race, you'll probably pick up a few quid and you can stick that in your accountant book. Anyway, go on.
You stick a tenner on Emerald Harmony and you lose a tenner.
You lose a tenner.
Yeah. Curragh, I think, is what Citroen has rebranded as, I think. But look, really? We're feel free to correct us on Twitter or on Spotify or YouTube, wherever you're listening or watching.
I think it's say it. That I'm just looking.
Oh, it's say it. Yeah, I knew it was one of those. Yeah.
Spanish, not French. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. I knew it was something like that. Yeah. Andy, you wanted to. I wanted to talk about come in as well, but I'll let you take it away. Would come in with your selection.
Yeah, like I think so. Like, and again, fair play to Bellewstown. They're getting great fields here. It's another field of 15 with the reserves. You love to see it. Great support, which is always fantastic to see. Look, it's a 3-year-old. He's carrying 10 stone 1. He's rated 65. Like, he's in here because of his 3-year-old allowance, essentially. He's just a grade above these, and with the potential to still be progressive. He beat the right horse last time out. Funny enough, in Emerald Harmony, who steps back into a maiden, but he beat it off 58, and they were clear of Elliot, who I believe reopposes. Elliot looked a little bit awkward though. He was kind of lugged all over the place. I would imagine come in, who I think is having his 3rd start for Diego Diaz. If people don't know who Diego Diaz is, very much an up-and-coming trainer. I think he could be Brazilian, but fantastic trainer of 2-year-olds already. He's already made quite an impact there in his 2 seasons so far.
You know who the jockey is here? Is he Brazilian as well?
Chinese Mac, he could be living with him. I don't know. They have. I don't know. Could be
de Oliveira.
Yeah, like it's lucky he's not a footballer, because it cost a few quid to get that name on the back of your shirt, I suppose.
They just call him Rivaldo or something.
Yeah, they probably just put him in, Keke or something. Or so look, I said it, a 3-year-old who won last time out, won very snugly. I think is above this grade, will probably be very, very hard to beat. The danger, maybe I might even do a forecast deck, Spirit of Eagles. And it was initially going to be my selection. I was going to be ballsy with that one. Big eye catcher the last day at Down Royal. She's in here off 53. She just fell out of the stalls. And funny enough, I just said Kiki, didn't I? The horse that she beat, or the horse that she was 2 lengths behind, despite finishing 8th, but only beating 2 lengths after falling out of the gates, was Kiki. And look, I think that wasn't a bad effort. She has form to suggest that she could do damage off a mark of around 53. But given what she did at Down Royal, I just thought it was quite an eye-catching run. The reason I didn't tip her up is I'd be afraid that if she fell out of the stalls again, obviously it doesn't matter if it's 5 furlongs, like it doesn't matter what track you're going to struggle. But Bellewstown, especially that kind of downhill, you're on big trouble if you don't get out on time. So what she would need is them to go really, really lickety split. There'd be nothing coming home better than her, but whether she's able to kind of keep up with them in the early part of the race is another thing. But I could see her running well at possibly a big price. But no, it would be come in for me, who I would expect to be favourite.
Yeah, I think he'll be short no favourite now. Come in. I can totally see it. But you did mention Elliot, and he does have £2 to find with come in.
Yeah.
But it's a £7 swing, and Elliot's only a 3-year-old as well. And that was his first turf handicap start the last day. So I'm willing to.
He looked slightly awkward. That's what, because that was initially thinking that way as well. And I just think come in could just be a grade above.
Yeah, I'm willing to forgive that with it being his first handicap start on turf.
Okay.
And with the £7 swing, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think he can reverse the form with come in.
All right.
The other one I like is Shoebox King. I think he's shown some nice enough form his last 2 runs. Been dropped another £2. I don't think he's without a chance, but my main selection would be Elliot to reverse the form with come in.
Right. So okay.
We're going head to head here.
Very good. Well, let's see. We'll have a point on it.
Okay, we'll move on to the 7 o'clock. The Irish Stallion Farms ABF Fillies Maiden for 3-year-olds. We're going up in trip, Andy. More my sort of thing here. We're nearly getting to timber trip. It's 1 mile, 4 furlongs and 37 yards. And there's horses in here with form behind good horses. Like we have Andromeda, who has 3 seconds so far. The second to Opera Singer last year on debut. And Riviera Queen, they ran her in the Salzabal. She was 7 lengths off winner Ezele, who's gone on to win the Oaks. But I think this one could go to a newcomer. And I'm not sure which newcomer, because I'm going to use your brain to decide which one which one of the newcomers. You're going to have Oaks now and tell us which one takes it.
I started writing down. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of these are actually quite expensively bought, and I'd say there's a couple of owners sitting in here now. Like you're getting to July now of their 3-year-old career, and some of them only making their debuts that were bought for 6 figures. Like
nothing wrong with being backward. Like, do you know what I mean? There's plenty. There's plenty of time over timber and over fences.
Yeah, but when they're bought for a 6-figure price, and you want to at least get a winning bracket into them before you send them off to the paddocks. Like there is a few here that you would be kind of worried about. Now, obviously, Andromeda, you wouldn't have any issues. Like she's probably going to, win a race. Like, to be honest, I look at her mark of 82, and I'd say she'd do damage off that in a handicap. But obviously, Coolmore couldn't give a hoots about a handicap, especially for a filly.
Well, they did run a Derby winner. They won on the other side of the world.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, exactly. And they've done it a few times. That they've messed around. They've had a few Royal Ascot handicap winners as well. They can do it.
They don't care about Bellewstown handicap. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like they wouldn't be they want to get a win. If a win at Bellewstown will be in a maiden, basically, if you're Kilmore. As you said there,
they want to win handicaps at the big meetings.
Exactly. Riviera Queen, it definitely sets the standard based on her run. I know she was last in that Group 3, as you said, behind Ezalea, but it was a Group 3. And look, she didn't in any way really disgrace herself. BHA mark of 87. Be very interesting to see how the market splits her and Andromeda. You could have maybe connection bias making Andromeda favourite, unless she only has £5 to find on the book. It kind of depends what way you want to look at it. Obviously, Riviera Queen having £7 claimed off her back as well. Looking at a couple of the debutants, market timing was a 100k purchase from book 2. So, look, I would have thought, you want to see her getting out a little bit earlier. But look, and starting over a mile and a half, it's never, they're never the greatest of, they're never really the greatest of signs, but she is related to plenty of winners. The Mighty Penny as well, John McConnell, Sayuni out of an Invincible Spirit mare. On the back of it, you wouldn't be banking on her to get a mile and a half, let alone debut over a mile and a half. But alas, here we are. She is a half sister to a decent mare that was trained by Jessica Harrington in Scarlett O'Hara. You might remember her from a few years ago. I think she was Group 3 placed, but quite talented. She wore pink colours. Wouldn't be surprised to see her run a big race, but what a massive red flag for me is seeing her debut over 12 furlongs. Like, seeing a pedigree like that, you probably would have maybe wanted to see her. You know, she could progress up to 12 furlongs, but you might want to maybe see her debut over 7 furlongs to a mile, possibly. Riviera Queen, as I said, rated 87. And then the other one that obviously Aga Khan won well bred in there. Caesarea has had a lot of chances though. Cosmic Book by Frankel as well. Needs to improve on what she has shown. However, she is the choice of Shane Foley, which is quite interesting. Beaten by Content on debut and beaten 10 lengths on her seasonal reappearance, hasn't been seen since May. Quite interesting, as I said, that Shane Foley rides her over Riviera Queen. With all of that said, Dec, who do I fancy? Like I was going around in circles here, to be honest with you. It would probably be Andromeda with a gun to my head, because I would trust that she'd be able to run to 82, given her trio of seconds. Riviera Queen, the fact that they were claiming 7 off her back just made me a little bit. I was questioning a little bit why Shane Foley wasn't riding her. But I think the one that Shane Foley's riding probably isn't good enough on the balance of form either. So, yeah, it'd be Andromeda for me. And
if you were to pick a newcomer?
It would probably still be McConnell's. The Mighty Penny.
McConnell takes this then, yeah.
Yeah, like she'd be a big price, but she's very well bred. And yeah. I suppose you could argue that Scarlett O'Hara, I'm pretty sure she was at her best. I will have to just double check this, but I think she was at her best over 12. So you would at least have that going for you in the in your argument. I'll just check now. Yeah, so she
making your debut now, you're obviously slow. Like it's
but you see the problem is Scarlett O'Hara was by Frankel and the Mighty Pennies by Sayuni. Sayuni was like, sprinter to a, much faster horse. Probably she wasn't faster than Frankel, but Frankel was just a freak. I was about to say probably a faster horse, but no, probably like Frankel would have won a person now shouldn't be Frankel probably would have won a Jolly Cup. So he's just a freak show. But as I said, Scarlett O'Hara at her best over 1.5 miles to 1 3/4. So you have that kind of going for you. So that's why I'd say maybe she'd be the most interesting debutant.
Okay, we'll all be on the McConnell horse here, so every last penny. Okay, we'll move on to 7:35. It is the fourth division of the GDOR and Co. Solicitors Handicap of a 1 mile 4 furlong 37 yards. We've had solicitors, we've had accountants, and what else we had?
We had a car. We had a few car
company.
Yeah, great. Loads of runners and a variance of sponsors. Bellewstown they have the game locked down here.
Look, there's two I like here. The main one is probably Metamorphosis. He didn't stay on his handicap debut off 66. That was over 2 miles. He was 7 lengths fifth. He's 4 flat runs. I know he's been over hurdles since he ran in 3 maidens. I think he could give this a right go coming back in trip. I know he's top weight here, but having hurdled as a juvenile, I don't think weight is going to matter too much. It's what's lurking in behind. And the other one would be Navajo River 60, rated 63. Plenty of excuses the last day at Gowran over 14 furlongs. I think he could give him something to worry about. But I'd be sweet enough on Metamorphosis here. What about yourself, Andy?
Good old Metamorphosis. Probably best known for what is 6th in the Fred Winter behind. Was it the Jazzy Matty one? Was it? Must have been.
It was Jazzy Matty. Yeah.
He ran well in a Fred Winter, and as you said, probably didn't stay. He definitely didn't stay at Killarney. Absolutely no way. He faded quite late. Good run. That probably would set the standard. He's probably going to find his level here. I'd say this is going to be his trip, 1.5 miles. 2 I liked against him though were Mackin a Million, who I should obviously say is declared for Thursday as well. More on that later. I think there's a very good chance you could see Mackin a Million win twice in 2 days. And look, I'll speak about that in a bit. But big improver over Sticks in the springtime. Operated well off this mark around this time last year, around July, August time, around 52, 53. Is clearly improved over hurdles. Is fit from jumping. Wayne has to taken off 5. It just looks like a standout to me. I think he'd be very hard to beat depending on whatever they do on Thursday or whether he turns up here. But even if he turns up on Thursday, I'd still fancy him for this. The other one is Party Moon. Second run for Dermot McLaughlin after leaving Damien English's yard. Much improved effort on stable debut for Dermot McLaughlin. He's only beaten 3 lengths at Fairyhouse over a mile and a half. Sticks with this mark. Second run after a bit of a layoff as well. And I'd fancy that Dermot will probably get a tune out of this horse. I could see him running a big race too. So if Mackin a Million doesn't run after winning on Thursday, I think Party Man is probably the one I'd be with here.
Okay, Mackin a Million or Party Man for you, Andy, and it's and it's metamorphosis for me with maybe Navajo River, giving them something to think about. We will move on to the finale. It is Division 2 of the G-Door and Coal Solicitors Handicap for $3 and up, over 1 mile, 4 furlong, 37 yards. There was 2 I liked again, Andy. Mephisto, who's hampered more than once at Limerick the last day. I thought he'd solid enough form before that. I think it's a chance off 57. And then Inquire Within, rated 53. Running well. His turf runs, I think, have been decent enough in 2024, and I think he's a chance in a weak enough field. I'll take the 2 of them, but you take us through the last race from Bellewstown.
Yeah, I found this one hard, Dec, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I could see where you were coming from with obviously Mephisto. You were right, he did definitely found plenty of trouble. But the one I'm going to take a chance on, solely because I think he's needed this, or she's needed this trip for quite a long time. Just going back on her previous runs, is Dazzling Spirit, the number 3 on the card. She is blinkered. It's her first time. It's her 37th run, but her first time finally trying a mile and a half. She was only beaten 3 lengths or so at Leopardstown last time out off 56. Look, long story short, she was just flat to the boards, and she was closing, and she was closest at the line. But it was just the most obvious sense of she just needs a trip as she's getting older. And they're finally trying this trip. They're trying it around Bellewstown. You could maybe make the argument that if she's going to be ridden cold, maybe this is not the race for her, especially with such a big field. Like, again, it's another 14-runner race at Bellewstown. This one's divided twice. So again, great for Bellewstown, but Dazzling Light, I don't think there'll be many coming home better than her. I think she's needed this trip for a while, and I think she's worth taking a chance on for Sneezy Foster.
Okay, very good. That brings us to the end of the Friday's Bellewstown card. Andy, would you have a nap of the card, or would your nap
Friday
of the next 3 days be coming up still?
You know what, I have one I really fancy Thursday night, so hopefully the shelf life is not going to be a very, very big on it, but there is one I quite like on Thursday for the Bellewstown card deck. I think Shocker could be a shade of odds on. If he's not, I would definitely be putting him forward, because I think he's going to be very, very hard to beat. Out of the other ones that we put up, I'm just having a quick look back over. Do I really fancy, like, Yefaminko is going to be 2s on, so I can't embarrass myself there. It would probably be come in for Diego Diaz. I think that horse is just above that grade. I think he's going to be very, very hard to beat. And look, to be honest, Dec, we're both going to be on Comers, aren't we? So if we put that forward as the nap at the top,
probably going to be the nap at the top, because the rest of my selections now are over jumps. I don't think any of are. So no. Agreeing on anything else, but I suppose he will be the nap at the top. I like 8x10 Commerce, obviously. I like Metamorphosis, and I like Mephisto. I might try to trade them into a small treble on Friday night, but we'll move on to other selections, Andy, and we'll try wrap it up in the next 10 minutes. Will I go for it? I have a few now.
Yeah, by all means, go ahead, bud.
Yeah. Look, the 7th Tipperary tomorrow, Thursday, so you better get listening Thursday morning. 7:25. It's a handicap hurdle, 2 miles, 4.5 furlongs. Mouse Morris runs one in the Ballymore colours, for Fear of Frost. He's rated 106. He chased on Imperial Pass in December 22. He made his handicap debut in May this year when he was in the rear, and he's dead on like he's a winning him, and you know, exactly what you want to see. So I reckon he'll be off for the second time in the handicap tomorrow night. I think he'd be very tough to beat. If there was going to be a danger, it's probably the mare, Curragh. She stayed on well over 2 miles on a handicap debut, but she's up £2 for that. She finished second, but she is up in trip. But I'd rather if she was buried a bit more. So I'll take the Mouse Morris for Fear of Frost. Then at 8 o'clock, it's a handicap hurdle over 3 miles. There's 3 of them I like, but there's one I really, really fancy. First one, Any Questions. She's in here off 87. She was second on handicap debut over half furlong shorter than this. She's up £2 for that. And the fourth has followed up, so the form is probably worth follow-up. Then Winds of Winter, she's rated 85. Her handicap debut was over 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs. She may have shown her hand a little bit, but she's up 4.5 furlongs. I'm just wondering, did they try the last day and they're trying something different now, and they're maybe guessing she wasn't good enough the last day, so we go up and trip. But the one I'm really, really keen on in here is the Oliver McKiernan horse. Another mare, she's rated 86. It's not over yet. She's got plenty of hurdling experience. She had her handicap debut on her 7th start. She's never been better than midfield, and she's ran on past beaten horses on both handicap runs. It's exactly what you want to see. I'm expecting on her 3rd run to be off tomorrow night, and geez, that could be my nap of the whole 3 days. I'll just run through 4 quick ones at Cork. At 4:30, it's a maiden hurdle over 2 miles, 1 furlong. In the trenches, it's a horse that's got lots of mentions previously on the podcast. Trained by Gavin Cromwell, 4-year-old. Second in 2 handicaps, and this is probably going to his first time trying in the maiden. He definitely tried in the 2 handicap hurdles. Never tried in the maiden before that. I reckon he'll take this. Then a 5:05, it's another maiden hurdle over 2 miles and 1 furlong. Little Foot, you might remember this one, Andy. I've spoken before about him. He was second to Dick Rocket and Dancing City in bumpers before running in a nice bumper. Was it the one that walk away Harry won at Punchestown?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Really walk away.
He found life quite difficult in maidens last year, but he ran in 2 in the summer and then 1 in September. But you have to remember, he was only a 5-year-old. And he definitely had excuses. I think he was cut when he came in on his last run in September. He's going to be much stronger as a 6-year-old, and I think we'll start to see the horse that he showed he could be early on in his bumper days. And at 5:40, we have a handicap hurdle over 2 mile one again. The Border Boy rated 86, a 7-year-old, steadily learning his job. At this time of year, I find that it's not as clean cut as it is in the depths of winter with them. I think sometimes you can watch them learning their job and it takes a few more runs. He had an opening mark of 88, and that was 3 starts ago, but his last run was quite encouraging and he's down to 86, so I think he's gonna pick up his first win tomorrow. Then at 6:15, it's probably the one I'm least confident about, so might be the only one that wins. Another handicap hurdle over 2 mile 1. Get It Right, rated 95. Looked worthy favourite the last day. I think it was at Ballinrobe, but just didn't get home, or maybe didn't handle the track and the turns. Left on the same mark, but dropped right back in trip here to 2 mile 1. I think Get It Right will, get the win.
You'll get it right today, will he?
Yeah, get it right the last day. Okay, Andy, I'll leave you to the close out the show.
Right. So I'll throw out a quick tricksy for Bellewstown on Thursday. First one is in the 4:55, which is the second race, and that is, are you in or out? I'll just make sure I have the right time. Yeah, are you in or out for Paul Stafford? An 11-1 shot. Colin Keane taking a ride. A horse that's been seen at 6 to 7 furlongs basically his whole career. Had the odd try at 5 as well. Steps up to a mile for the first time. I think he just needs this trip. Colin Keane is booked, so he's going to give him every chance of getting it. She is by Inns of Court, so, and out of a Royal Applause mare, so you can maybe see the reason why they never tried a mile. But if you're going to get a mile, the chances are you'll get it around somewhere like Bellewstown. She was staying on at Ferryhouse the last day, which is a very easy 6, beaten 3 lengths over 6 furlongs, double figure price. Taking a chance on her to get it right for the first time in her career at a mile. The half 5 race, which is very interesting. A lot of these horses we would have probably talked about tonight in the main show. Breezy's off in there, who is engaged for Friday. A few of the others are as well. But the one, and this could be possibly my best bet of the week, or best bet of the show, is the Bog Bank, who is currently trading at around 11 or 12 to 1. It's another mare. She's rated 53. And the reason I like her is because she hit a pretty rich vein of form, probably some of the best form she's shown throughout her career. This time last year in around July of 2023. If you go back through her form, when I was talking about Dec, horses that ran one day and then the next night, or one night and then the next night at Bellewstown, she was one of them. Second, I believe, in this race last year off 61. She was beaten 5 lengths in second. She came out the very next night as the favourite and was beaten third of 14, again off 61. But she finished that week off winning at Dundalk. So she ran 3 times in a week, finishing second, third, and then winning. This, however, is her only entrance the only entry of the whole week, and they've got her down to a mark of 53. So all of those performances coming off a mark of 61. She is £8 lower, and a double figure price. I could see her, like, this looks like she could have just been laid out for this race, and I would be quite keen on her now to run a big race in the 5:30 on Thursday at Bellewstown. That's the Bog Bank. 7:45 race then is the final one I'm going to finish with. Kind of alluded to this earlier in the show. I'm going to back Mackin a Million here for Gavin Cromwell. Gary Carroll taking a ride. For every reason that I said earlier on, he's clearly improved over hurdles. Operated well off this mark around this time last year, I think in August of last year. I could honestly see him going and winning this and then turning out the very next night and winning again, under a penalty. I think he is very, very well handicapped off 53. He's around 5 to 2 at the moment. And I think he's going to take the world of beating. So Mackin a Million to possibly...
Mackin a Million was a hurdle winner for TAP.
He was, Cork.
Irish National Day at Cork.
Irish National Day, yeah, I thought so. Well, I think he could be a Bellewstown. I honestly could see him winning twice at Bellewstown. I think he'll get at least one. And I'd imagine they will run him twice, but Mackin a Million. And I just noticed that I took a quick look while you were throwing out furious tips. The TAP tracker has alerted me to Liberated Light at Tipperary, which I believe is also Thursday, at 5:40. Funny enough, this is the full brother to A Dream to Share. Not as talented, unfortunately. He's in off 104. Look, I'm just gonna flag him because it could be the next day. He's been off for over 3 months. But the reason he's made the TAP tracker is due to his run at Cork. If anybody wants to see a run, I think he's behind the art in a maiden. He was beaten about 20 lengths, finished 4th. You won't see a bigger eye catcher in your life. So he's off 104. Whether it's tomorrow is another question. But I could see him winning a couple races this summer. So just keep a very close eye on Liberated Light.
That's the only handicap I left alone at Tipperary tomorrow. Really?
Yeah. I knew you were speaking. I went on the tracker, Liberated Light. But as I said, would need to brush up on his jumping. But I could see him being extremely dangerously handicapped off 104. Whether he might need a run after a 3.5 month break is the question. But I could see him definitely going well in Tipperary tomorrow.
Okay, that's it. Nothing Friday.
Nothing else Friday. No. I'll be active as I can on Twitter as well. Get a few more tips up for the guys as well. So.
Okay. Well, we've covered 4 meetings there, and we've done it in an hour. So you won't get this sort of content anywhere else. And I doubt you'll see a Luke Comer nap on any other podcast. And you know, as always, thanks for all the support and thanks for listening. And you know, we were back a little bit rusty last week, but it was great to see so many views, great to see so many comments coming in, and we try to get back to them all. And you know, we do love the comments coming in, and you know, we love chatting to you. It's not always that easy when you're busy with life shit, but you know, we do really enjoy it. So thanks very much, and you know, keep it up, and thanks for listening. So Andy, I think we leave it there, and
hopefully get a few winners, and we'll be back hopefully next week. We'll have to look at the schedule. Yeah,
we look at the schedule, and look, I suppose we better get some winners because we put up a lot there tonight. So we thought
you put up a bleeding a truck's worth there, so let's say.
Yeah, all right, cool. Thanks very much.
All the best, boys. Bye.